All right, what's up, fellas? Everybody, see if we get a sound check. That's recording. All right, guys, welcome to another Smithfield town meeting. So I'm going to say hello, guys. What's going on? So we are doing a meeting about the condo development. So we have a condo development that's coming up. Yeah, I'm sure that people are going to see this and they're going to wish they had a chance to talk about it. I did send out over 100 messages. Like, I did as many as humanly possible. Many people answered. Not everybody said yes. About half answer, half say yes, and then like maybe 1/5 of that actually show up. So we are here with, as always, B-Dog. What's going on, B-Dog?
Hi, how are you? I'm B-Dog, technology guy.
Okay, and who we have right here?
Good morning, Angelica Bovis, Vice President of the Town Council.
All right, and then to my left, what's going on, Joe?
Hi, Joe Siegel. I wrote for the Smithfield Times for 5 years.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Covered
Okay.
town. Yep.
All right, way to go, Joe. So, everybody. All right, guys, so the hot topic right now, if you drive down Lime Rock Road, you will see all those red signs of, what's it say? Stop major
condo development on Lime Rock.
So, I guess that's we'd like to give everybody a voice here about what is some pros and cons. So, obviously we have the farm there, like our beloved Blackbird Farm. They have the ice cream stand over on Douglas Pike and everything. Like, they contribute to town pretty well. I believe, could you pull up on the map where that is?
Which one do you want? Do you want the Lime Rock or the Austin?
Lime Rock.
Okay.
Pull up Lime Rock here. And we're just going to see without, wait for it to load. Yeah, that's why I warned you about it.
I had Austin Ave all set up, so... Oh, that's not right.
All right, so yeah, Lime Rock Center. Okay.
There we go.
So Lime Rock Road. So let's
That's
scroll.
the Buddhist temple.
Yeah, Buddhist temple. I believe. Does anybody know where it is? I believe it's up north a bit more.
This is usually where it starts. You see the signs all up here.
Yeah. So here we have
Terraza.
the Moo ice cream stand, and they have the food truck over
Terraza.
there. Terraza's awesome. So move up a little bit. Let's try to see if we
I
can.
think they want to build the condos like around here, right? Some of them.
I don't think that's where it is.
No?
I think it's near
Over
the
here.
Buddhist
No,
temple.
that's the farm.
I know it's before the airport. And that gets right to the Lincoln line.
Yeah.
So why do you keep going back?
Well, I mean, we're getting close to the Lincoln line, right?
No.
So-
Or zoom out. Did anybody?
That's the airport
I believe
there.
it's All right, I believe it actually is right where your red thing is near the Buddhist temple. I believe it's in there, but it's like while we talk about it, B-Dog, just pull up the article. It's going to tell us, unless you know, Angelica, how many units it was supposed to be. I think it was 200 and something. They talk about some are the 8-plex. They call them plex, means families.
Here it is right here.
You already have it. Well, not bad. I gotta switch your camera again.
I don't know the exact number. I want to say off the top of my head it was 262.
All right, here we go. 218 close.
218, okay.
So it's in the 200. So a 218 unit, guys. Let's talk about what we're doing here. So Smithfield is Smithfield's. You know, it was kind of a quiet town that gets developed a little bit each year. So we have some people not wanting to develop it, some people that would like people to have opportunity here, right? So they're proposing to build a 218 plex / family / unit condo on Lime Rock Road. That road doesn't have any sidewalks. I don't think they have a bus route on there. Keep my rip, they could always put a bus route on there. But with the idea of 218 is that's 218 families. Some of them, you know, they could be a family of 5 or 6, or it could be a single person. You know what I mean? We don't know. I was looking up last night how it works. In that article, you don't have to pull it up right now, but they hinted at the idea that it's a low-income housing unit because I think Smithfield, I guess the state, correct me because I'm not a pro on this, just read the article. I believe the state wants every town to have 10% low-income housing. Now, that is a law that gets signed in. Maybe people think it's right, some people think it's wrong. Is this a moral conflict? Should we have to force every state to do this, right? So Smithfield's still under the 10%, so it needs more. So this would solve their 10% thing, because every town needs to propose a plan and implement a plan to try to get that much. Keep in mind, some towns, you look at the map, they show how much each one has. I think, Woonsocket, Providence is good. Newport's good, and then like Foster's real low, Citrus real low. Smithfield's like in the middle. They're a little bit. I think they're almost at 10%. But anyway, so that'd be how many people that would be? I'd imagine it'd be over 1,000 people for a 200 unit condo. There'd be over 1,000 people added, and they would all be at RC. All those children would probably go to RC LaPerche School. It's right there, It did just kind of get an expansion, so I don't know. I don't have any kids in the school system. I don't know how stressed that school is.
And it's going to be new people. It's not going to be like locals saying, "Oh, I want to move into these condos." It's going to be all new people coming through.
Yeah, we'll get into that a bit. But what is so let's talk to you guys here. So Joe, what do you think about this idea? Do we want all these new people coming to this development? Keep in mind, there's two developments we're talking about in this, guys. We'll get to Austin Ave in a second, but right now we're kind of speaking more about Lime Rock. How do you feel about it, Joe? You're a resident of the town. What do you feel about the condos?
I don't think it's a wise idea. I don't think the additional traffic would be good for the residents on that street. It's a narrow road as it is. It could be a traffic nightmare if you have all those extra cars. You're putting a strain on the schools. La Perch anyway. Public safety, fire, police protection. You're adding a lot of people, and it really impacts every facet of town when you add that many people, and you're taking away the rural quality of Smithfield. The small town feel. You're losing that the more people you keep adding and adding. So I'm against it right now. It's just too much. It's too many people. It's too much, too much housing, and no, I don't feel comfortable with that at all.
And the road too, like you said, is really narrow. I mean, imagine they did something like that on Ridge Road or something. It's like
It's crazy.
There's two things to say. Thanks for that, Joe. Number one, you're supposed to be putting that in the chart. He just gave a bunch of reasons. I'm just supposed to type it in. So he gave a bunch of cool reasons. So what we're doing is making a chart, everybody, for that. Joe just listed a bunch of reasons why we wouldn't want this in the town. Like you said, you kind of lose the iconic look of Smithfield. It has farms, forest, suburbs. You're gonna lose a whole image. I totally understand that. Yeah, stressing the schools. Now, what you're saying is if you have a kid in the school system, now you have. It could be up to, if it's a 200-unit condo, each one has, say, average might have a kid. With that 200 new kids, say, maybe 50, 70 of them going to La Perch, something like that. Everything all right, Joe? What's going on?
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool. The other thing is, I wanted to say that's slightly off topic. That turn at the airport, how many times I almost get hit there where they go, it's a straightaway on the edge of the airport, the swamp, and then you see them going around the corner, and they make eye contact with you last second. I don't like to blare the horn at them, but I give them that right by the airport. Pull up on the map where it is. That is insane. I think it might. That is still before Lincoln. That is still
the airport
Smithfield.
is right here. You're talking about probably
Show
this,
me
this
the
bend.
infamous dead man's curve at it, huh? Just letting this pull up. Okay, up a little bit, right there, right where the solar panels.
This bend, yeah.
Zoom in just a little bit.
Yeah.
They come down.
Yeah, they do.
Go right here, B-Dog. Look at my finger. Show the car coming from here, like with your mouse, and over on this turn, they're going about 55, and they realize they're going a little like in a Formula One race, they're going a little too quick. Anyway, that was just a thing about the area, but yeah. Especially down there where they're building condos, it is a very narrow area with no sidewalk, and we know a lot of those are gonna have bored kids at the condo complex. They're gonna be like, well, let's go cow tipping. There's a farm right here. Let's feed the cows Pop Rocks and see if their stomachs explode. I can see stuff like that happening. We do have a low income housing development, Georgeville Manor. Are the cops at the beach a lot because of that? Because the beach is right there? Or how is that affected anything? Do you know, Angelica? What's up with that?
So I just want to correct you on one thing, because it's my understanding that the development on Lime Rock is not 100% low income.
Okay, so it could be mixed. Maybe.
So there is a requirement in the state for that 10%. And every development that comes to town, whether it's big or small, I think it's over 6 units, I believe. If over 6 units are being built, there's a requirement of at least 1/3 of those units being affordable.
Okay.
If you were to go a different route through the development, right, because we're under the 10%, we have something that's called a comprehensive permit. So instead of going to zoning, to planning, to the building department, getting environmental permissions, going to fire, right, instead of doing all those things that most people would have to do when they're developing something, you can kind of skip the line, if you will, do what we call a comprehensive permit, and you can do all that at once. No planning board, no zoning board, and the low moderate income threshold for that is 25%, so it goes down a little bit.
Okay,
So I don't know if I'm not sure. Maybe someone listening will know better, but I don't believe this development is 100% low income like the one down in Georgeville.
okay.
I think it's mixed.
So you are a town council member, so you probably have a good consensus. How does I think we know most of the townspeople feel. How does the council feeling? Do you have any reasons why this could benefit anybody? What's the benefit of having a new condo complex? Is it bringing tax revenue? I'm really genuinely not sure about what that means for the town.
Right. So I think the town council, amongst us five, not to speak for everybody, but I think we all have a consensus that overdevelopment, not responsible development, giant developments like this are not good for Smithfield, right? That being said, we struggle with somebody owns land, they have a right to develop that land within the bounds of the state law. And unfortunately, the state law right now is very relaxed and very flexible because of this housing crisis that we're going through. So we're doing what we can to minimize this impact. And I didn't make a list of kind of pros and cons of condos. If you
Yeah, so take out the list. Just before you do that, I wanted to say we have some comments that come in. I won't say your name, guys, in case you don't want your name on here, because whatever. We have somebody says, they said the sound check is good, okay?
Cool.
So one person said low income will bring trouble to Smithfield with one lake on that comment. Cool. Then can someone explain what affordable means and works?
Sure.
I guess, yeah, let's do that, then we'll get into the list. Do you know what that means?
Yes, so there's different tiers to affordable housing and low income housing. The type of affordable housing that I'm talking about is what we call LMI, which is low moderate income housing. So the way it works is you have to make under a certain dollar amount, either as a single person or as a couple. And if you make under that dollar amount, you'd qualify to purchase these properties. You get a mortgage like everybody else. You get, you put a down payment down like everybody else. It's just it's capped at a certain price. So if all the condos in that area are worth $500,000, that one might be $350,000. So you're capped at that price, and you can only sell it at that capped price.
Could you just repeat that last part there? So if all the condos in that area, say that sentence again. I didn't
Sure.
quite
So
understand
say
that.
there's 10 condos being proposed in a development,
Okay.
and the requirement is 1/3 or 25% of those condos have to be low moderate income.
Okay.
So 3 of those 10 have to be low moderate income, right? They're all gonna look the same. They're all gonna be the same. The inside maybe doesn't have the hardwood, right? Maybe it has some carpet or something like that, but it's income restricted, meaning if you make a certain dollar amount or below, which I believe that dollar amount right now is 80,000, I want to say, for a single person, which is high, I think.
That actually is very high.
Right.
I think.
I think in 2020, if I recall, it was around 65,000. So if you make that dollar amount or below, you'd qualify to get on this list for low moderate income housing. And then you get a mortgage, you pay your mortgage every month, and then when you eventually want to sell that house, you would sell it also to someone who would qualify at that time for that capped price. So, you're not making money on the house as if someone would if they owned it
Okay, yeah.
otherwise.
I definitely understand how the words low income and Section 8, all those things, obviously, I don't believe it's Section 8, but it's a buzzword for everybody, right?
Right.
I just want to talk slightly about the morality of, legally, the, town's supposed to have the 10%. I mean, 10%, I think, is a high amount. If you think about when you go down Pleasant View Ave, every 10 houses you count one. That one has to be government assisted. Another 10 houses, one. That's so many homes. We have a population of 20,000. So you picture say 10% of that population, the state's mandating us to have them as low income. Another thing, the morality / philosophy of it, I believe if you keep building more low income homes, it may create more of it, because I look at 2 examples of what I do like about low income housing opportunity. One is a girl moves here from Montana, marries a guy, they have a child. He leaves her or dies, she's widowed or something. Yeah, she should be in low-income housing or government assisted housing, at Lime Rock, whatever. But some guy's a barber and he's making a little bit above the cap for low-income housing. Let's say the cap's 80. He's making 85 grand a year barbering. He goes, wouldn't I just do a few less haircuts every month and just get low income, and it's a permanent solution for me because I was already making around that much. So you somewhat, I guess you call it game or take advantage of the system. But yeah, you could incentivize that by having low income housing assistance. The thing I want to say is, okay, it's not officially approved, but if you read the little newsletter, they hint at it and mention it, which means it definitely is going to be. Just like in Providence when they did the Washington Bridge, as soon as they had the meeting and they go, oh, you know, we might have to take down the whole bridge, but we still got to do all the tests, so we might have to take down the whole bridge. But once you mention it once, I think 99% it means yes, it is going to be. Okay, so what is where were we at? Okay, so I think that Angelica had a list of some pros for the town. We'll get back into some cons and stuff because there's definitely more stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
But what are some pros? I would imagine like maybe tax revenue or something. What are some pros of having this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of pros that I was able to conjure up. Some of the ones that I listed was it's efficient land use, so you could put more homes on a smaller parcel, which could help with that shortage that people talk about. Another thing would be the economic benefits. So yeah, it is increased tax revenue for the town. That's how the town pays for the police, pays for the fire, pays to get the roads paved, right? Pays for the school department. So instead of having one house on 1 acre of land, right, you would have 5, 6, 7 condos, and that's increased revenue for the town, increased services for the people of the town. But I think that cuts both ways, right? Because that also puts a higher stress on those services.
Okay, so it
Right.
helps them. So it may help fund. It helps fund them a bit, but they also
More
can put
demand.
more demand on
Right.
the police department. What are you thinking, B-Dog?
I would imagine though that positive would be it could grow the economy. More people come in there spending more money at the crossings or local stores, restaurants.
Exactly. So a lot of these things really do cut both ways, and I think being on the town council, sometimes that's what I struggle with because objectively, maybe it is good for Smithfield to have more people, right? But then when you really look at it in practice, it's not. So it's in practice, like living in town, being in town, listening to the budget problems that we have at the school department in the town, the traffic problems, the road paving backlog that we have, right? It's not better. So it's a struggle for sure.
The one positive I can think of is that if these people get their places developed, they could save Slice and Scoop from going out of business if they're in trouble, because they could all fund Slice and Scoop and go there all the time. Or is that what it's called? Slice and
Yes,
or pizza?
the pizza.
I thought it was called pizza scoops or something.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's like a final thing. Maybe they save it. They save it from damnation. Okay, cool. So we'll make a list together, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll try to understand this. But you got to feel for the people are already there. So they have the Blackbird Farm is like the biggest concern. Like that's their area. Okay, like unofficially, dude, that's like that's their spot. Lime Rock Road. They have right across the street, I believe, affiliated is the Intercity Welding, which I've done some business with. Intercity Welding, the place right across. So it's like this is the big fear. And then Joe, we'll let you talk a little bit. Like my fear is that everybody is thinking, doesn't want to say, they don't want to see gangs of 20 kids walking down the street on a narrow street in the road. Be like, yo, what's up, bro? Hit me, dude. You know what I mean? We don't want to see that, right? You don't want to see another section of woods just go to homes, and then I guess people were talking about the flooding, which in case I didn't realize this, and I'm done land development. I didn't know that if you land is permeable, which means the rain drains into the land and goes to whatever, goes to the Cold Spring in Georgeville Pond or wherever it goes, right? Mm-hmm. But if you build a parking lot over it, it doesn't penetrate the ground, and they have to have drainage that goes out. So now you lost like 10 acres, however big the condo area is, you lost out of drainage. So now now Lime Rock Road might have a river going down it. Now you might see the sewer drains getting filled and not being able to drain the water quickly. So that's a slight thing. It is surrounded by a good amount of, it's not like Providence where everything's not permeable land, everything's asphalt, not that bad. But, it is a thing also, having that many people there, thinking that's 200 units, that could be around 1,000 people. I mean, who knows how much it's going to be? Who knows what the ratio is? If it's going to be all families or all single people? But is that kind of what you feel, Joe? Like you don't want to see another area of land go to development, or many more thoughts, and then I'll start writing it down, and we'll put it on the screen. So hopefully you wrote down what she was saying. Cool, you did. Thank you. And then Joe, give you the mic a second. Joe, what are you feeling about that?
I'm not opposed to building, new housing. I'm just saying that for Lime Rock in particular, that's not an ideal location for 218 units. When you add in all the extra cars, the impact on traffic on that road, it's a very narrow road. The impact on the schools, on classroom size, potentially. There, also, like I said, you're losing the country quality of Smithfield that attracted so many people, and you're altering it with each new development. And there are other developments going on. There's one right next to my neighborhood of Whipple Road. They're building houses there. That used to be just empty land. So now there's new housing going in there. It's everywhere. And then I just went on George Washington Highway. There's a Maori Commons development. I think I saw a sign for that. It's just too much. It's too much, and it's going to put a strain on town services. And I've seen this. I cover another 2 small towns in Massachusetts, and one of them is having a real issue with overdevelopment and straining resources. Is just really bad. So I don't want that to happen here.
There's 2 things I want to say, Joe. Wow, that actually was a lot of info from you. The first thing is a bit of a moral argument, then I'll get into the really crazy thing we just found out. The moral argument is that I just realized kind of by you saying that, like you and I live in this town, so we have to like work our tails off to live in this town, right? So why would you want to give that great opportunity in this extremely safe place with great hiking trails that we had to work to get?
Yeah.
Somebody could get it just by gift, right? They did not have to put in extra work. In fact, they had to do less work to get into this town, right? So it's kind of like, unfortunately, like I might not want to share what I worked to create, right? Not that I own the whole town, but that's an argument. Other one is that on the other side, see you talking about Whipple. I have a confession to make to you. I was one of the companies that helped develop the Whipple thing, and I want to apologize.
You have to apologize. No.
So I don't know. I mean, they don't tell us what it is. We did a little bit of work. They didn't tell us what it is. I don't know. I thought it was gonna be some. I don't know. Somebody's making a field. I have no idea. They could make a cornfield. Who the hell knows? But but we're still gonna be friends, Joe.
Okay.
Right, what's up, B-Dog?
So we're talking about all these new developments, and I'm not sure if you guys might know anything, but I recently hiked at the Stillwater Scenic Trail last weekend.
Up. Any developments there, buddy?
Yeah, I'll show you guys the video.
Just get off your computer, sorry.
It's okay. It's gonna take me just a second to pull it up.
While he's pulling it up, I believe the rumor would be, now it's private land, but I believe it would be a Di Gregorio, perhaps corporate office or Di Gregorio construction yard, something with them.
Basically, over here, I was hiking up the hill, the side of Wolf Hill on the Stillwater Scenic Trail, and as I did, I noticed there were these big sand dunes, and I go, what the hell is this? They plowed the whole trail system up on the top of the hill that was out there.
Pause it and show the folks on the map.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like there now, but on the map...
Show us where this is.
This is right on the corner, right? Is that what you're talking about?
The Stillwater Scenic Trail, going right to the...
Right.
I lost where we are. Oh, right here.
The stump pond we need. Here it is. I got it right here. Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Okay, so basically I hiked up this hill right here, and this area right here. Previously, when I hiked up here, when you go around here, there were these old unmarked trails that would do like a loop, like a little loop, and you can go back down. But when I hiked up here to do those trails, it was plowed. It was gone. So
yeah. So it looked like I wouldn't. I mean, I don't want to get into this company's
there we go, right here.
Business.
Let's see if you guys see. So Wolf Hill is over here, right? The start of the actual base of the hill is at the Scenic Trail. So I'm hiking, doing these trails. All over here is where the trail system used to be, and now it's plowed to what we're looking at over here. How it looks. So yeah. So I'm not sure what they did to it.
So the trail system, Stillwater trail system, is owned by the Conservation Commission, I believe. Joe, I think
Yes.
you agree with that,
Yes.
right? Okay. Is owned by the Conservation Commission. So maybe there were some trails bleeding over into someone else's property. I'm not really sure. But this is what we talk about when we talk about responsible growth, right? Responsible development. We're not saying never build a house in Smithfield ever again, right? But we're saying, okay, 218 units in a residential area, maybe not the best place, right? But somewhere like this on George Washington Highway, it's a little more commercial, right? It's zoned for that. It's more of a commercial area. Okay, maybe it makes sense to do some more commercial development there.
Well, what do we think this could end up being?
I think that's a commercial development. I don't know for sure, but
'cause we're looking
that
at this-
district in
this whole-
town is what we call the EGO district, which is an economic development district. So there's some zoning changes that happened there in the last 5 years, and that's for us to expand the businesses in town, because I mean that's an area that would be great for business.
Well, you know what this is? So, okay, the actual main trail that you park on and you follow on is over here, right? The trails that lead to Wolf Hill through the power lines are right here. And then over here in this area were these unmarked trails that could have been from the 1800s. Who knows when the hell they had them. But they must have plowed starting from here on 116 and came up. Because you can't start from the trail side. You know what I mean? So they must have plowed from here and went up.
Right.
All right, so a bunch of comments came in. We'll do the comments, but I want to make sure I don't cut you off, Angelica. Is there any? What we'll do after the comments is that if there's any other notes you want to go through, and then we just got to make sure we pull up the pro and con list, and so that way we can just show that on the screen, and say, okay, what we got out of this meeting, the pros and cons, and then we'll actually look at it for a second, go through the comments, and like make sure everybody's voice is kind of heard on this. Like, okay, as of so far this meeting, at this point in the development of this is how we feel. Okay,
Right.
so let's see. I guess I won't. If you guys, by the way, if you guys watch this, if you want tell me if you want to be anonymous. You want me to say your name. You want to get the cred for your comment. Somebody said the video of the Stillwater Scenic Trail said that it was for a private company. That's a lot of land. Wouldn't be surprised if they had bigger plans for that area. Okay. Yeah. Somebody lives on Williams Road, and that's horrible. Probably talking about one of the developments going up. Cool. All right. I can't believe, Kevin. I'm so sorry. What does LMH mean? Does anybody know?
I think it's low moderate housing.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So anyway, it gives more rights to developers because if the town says the developer sues the town and the law says the project. All right. Can somebody translate this for me?
Sure.
So low income / moderate housing gives more rights to the developers because if the town says no, the developer sues the town and loses, and the project moves forward. So so it's easier to develop it because they kind of have a little special interest because it's a law that they're supposed to work for that. Cool. All right. How many other developments are happening right now in Smithfield? We have
Austin Ave. We never discussed that.
Joe, what do we got? We got how many developments? So we got Lime Rock is the big one with all the protest signs on it.
Yes.
Austin Ave is, I believe, in pre-proposal state. Ooh, this camera should be on me. Austin Ave has condos that are going to be proposed eventually, but people are already aware of it and already trying to say, please don't give us more traffic on that terrible 4-lane highway, Austin Ave, that we all get caught in the traffic on. Okay. Whipple. Do you know what is going on at Whipple Road?
I think they're building a dozen houses.
Okay. All right, not that bad, but it's still development. Yeah. Me and Joe would like to see some more trees, but, you know.
Yes. Old County Road, they're building.
There's 2 on there.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody know where on Old County are they building? Oh, you know what? I do know what it is. Okay. If you are coming from the post office
Yes.
and you pass Old County School, it is at the right after like that turn.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sharp turn-ish.
Yep.
But is on the right. I remember seeing the trees cleared. Okay.
Nick, there's about 700 to 800 units throughout town being proposed total with all of the developments, which is a huge stress on our system, huge stress. So the goal, I think, to fix these problems, and I've talked about this with some of my colleagues on the town council and President Tassoni specifically, we need to encourage single family developments and not massive condo developments, right?
Yeah.
Encouraging single family developments it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for the town. You know, in the name of housing, people can get more housing. It's good for everybody, but single family developments is the way to go.
I got you. And I do want to say, guys, I think before the meeting I did mention, and time check, and everybody wants to get out here. 12, time check. Anybody? Time check.
It's fine.
11:46.
Cool. As I won't tell anybody where, but in the past I've owned a commercial property with neighbors beefing. Police come say we have a noise ordinance. Please stop. So I understand. I am on both sides here. I actually live close to where they want to build these condos, you know what I mean? So I don't want to go down Lime Rock and see a huge gang of kids looking for trouble. I don't want to see Blackbird Farm have people trespassing all the time. Blackbird Farm's meat market thing already got robbed, and they had video of the guy robbing it, right? We don't want anything happening to Blackbird, okay? We love that farm. We don't, and the whole area, across the street from Blackbird, that awesome, nice housing place there. We don't want any vandalism or anything there, right? Another thing is, you gotta think about the developer, like somebody's been paying on that land, paying the taxes. We're not paying the taxes. We like to pay our own little home tax, so but we don't pay for that land. So it's almost like I don't like telling people what to do because I don't have a responsibility for it, you know. So it's like I don't want to tell you because I'm here, you're gonna lose your investment. Now you might want to put your kids through college with the investment you're gonna make. This guy's a developer who lives. The developer also lives in a town that he don't want destroyed too. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So that's why it's such a controversial issue. Okay, I wish I could have spoke to somebody that was at the big meeting they had at the lodge. They had you know what I mean, on it was actually in Lincoln. They had the meeting, but they did have a meeting about this. I wish I was able to go to that. But anyway, so could we please fill out the last thing we had to do for this? Can we please fill out a pro and con list? I'm going to switch.
Have it all ready to go.
I'm going to switch to his computer. Now, we're going to make sure we speak for everybody. So, guys, in the comments, you're going to let us know if you want anything on the pros and con list. Let me just finish reading out the comments. There might have been a couple more traffic, somebody says. Yep. Somebody said, Patrick Taylor says, Smithfield is going to be a city soon. Yes. I would prefer not to live in the city of Smithfield, right? But, okay. Makes no sense to have more condos in a smaller location. Okay, cool. Is this development requesting any variance? The town should be able to say no to any variances. I do not know what that means.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
I do. I think what that person maybe is talking about is the zoning board, right? There's rules when you build something. You have setback rules, variance regarding where on the land something is positioned. Look this way. Where in the land something is positioned. So when developers come to, whether it's put a garage on their house that they already own, right? A small development or big developments like this, they go to the zoning board to request relief in order to make the project work. And that's what we were talking about with the comprehensive plan, or not comprehensive plan, sorry, comprehensive permit earlier, is if you're below that 10% threshold, which we are, all those rules get thrown out the window and you can use a comprehensive permit and not have to request those variances from the zoning board directly. You can kind of skip the line. So that's the issue here, is the rules are not as strict. The rules are not as strict because we're below that 10%.
While you were saying that, we just got a comment that says, more trails, less condos.
There you go. That's nice.
So anyway, yeah. We got it. All right, let's see this list here. Okay. Oh, dude, B-Dog, I gotta say, B-Dog, you blew us out of the water. Usually I gotta yell at you when we get to the part where you pull up what you've been working on, so thank you. Locations, Austin Ave, Lime Rock Ave, 218 units, Whipple Road, in Old County. Those are the developments that we know of. I'm sure there's still a developer lurking around Smithfield, rubbing his hands, looking at the trees, going, I can't wait to kill all the chipmunks and put up low-income housing. Anyway, all right, that was kind of weird. So, pros, let's, does anybody...
The pros or cons first? The cons is on top.
Let's have, I'll read out the pros, and then Joe, could you read out the cons? Because I think that you'll be able to really feel it when we talk about the cons. Right?
Rural town feel.
Well, let me do the pros. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
So, the pros, guys, we have better economy, meaning it'll bring some tax revenue to the town. It's a good use of the land. So the land right now is just home to a couple squirrels. So it would be a good use of it. If it has to get developed, it's like, okay, housing maybe. All right. Introduce new faces to town who could contribute to society. So they could help with funding restaurants we want to stay that we don't go to that often. Like I don't think we're not super often at least myself, I'm not super often going to Slice and Scoop, but maybe this will keep it busy, you know. More rights to developers, that's a pro.
For them it is.
For them.
For them, yeah.
All right, cool. Scroll down. I think we're not representing pros. There's got to be more. I wish.
That was really all we came up with, though.
I want to say, can you put in help?
Oh, I have a good one.
Helps, gives somebody an opportunity to live in a nice town or something. I don't know. There's gonna be some. It's more of a pros is usually more of a moral argument. You know what I mean? Like morally, this is a good thing.
You know something, Nick? I think people think if we build more condos, some schools of thought is if you build more condos, the people who are maybe retired, right, living in a big house by themselves now, or seniors would leave those big single family homes, downsize into something smaller, and then open up those single family homes for families and stuff that want to come into town.
Seniors can downsize.
So some people think that, but I don't know how true that is.
It's true. So when we talk about trying to get a pro going, and the reason I haven't listed lowering home prices is because you have no idea what people are going to do. It's so unpredictable. The idea is if you build, so say Smithfield has 10,000 homes. If you build another 10,000, it should slash the price in half of a home because now there's nobody outbids each other anymore. But this seems to be like, okay, maybe a third of them or something could be, it's government assisted, so those people or whatever. But then, some people that might bid against you when, all right, say B-Dog wants to buy a home. I'm going to buy a small property in Smithfield. You are going to have somebody that's bidding against you that's going to raise the price, or 20 people went to the open house. Mm-hmm. Now, you might be the only person that goes to the open house, and you're the only bid on the property, and they might take your lowball offer because the guy that was going to bid against you is moving to this Lime Rock place. Best case scenario, okay? Worst case scenario, they just go from other congested areas to congested area. Okay, cool. So, I actually can't believe it. I didn't listen to what you just said. I don't remember the last thing you said.
She said the seniors can downsize and open up.
Oh, okay, I remember that. I'm sorry. Okay, I wanted to make sure. I guess I wanted to make sure we wrote that down. Okay.
Right. That's what some people say. I haven't seen that done in practice. I don't know how true those things are, but that could be a pro if it's true.
Potentially could be a pro.
Right.
Okay, scroll down.
Well, the cons on top.
Sorry,
we started with the cons.
All right. Could you read one off for me, Joe? Read the first one, please.
Rural town feel gone. Stress on schools, traffic, safety concerns, crime, police presence, fire risk, straining resources, danger to Blackbird Farm, theft, vandals.
Yes, I believe that we should protect Blackbird Farm like it's our babies, because can we talk about, so we're going to wrap this up in a second, we'll do a thing called closing arguments, but I want to talk about, do you know how awesome Blackbird Farm is that they let you walk into their parking lot,
animals,
look at the cow and look at the sheep and stuff,
goats,
and they give us an awesome ice cream trailer and like one of the barbecue. I forget what the other food trailer is, but they have a food trailer there and stuff for some other company. But what an awesome spot that is, because the area is a bit quiet, that Route 7 area, and they just kind of do that, which is they're helping the town a lot. Okay, that's a great thing to do. I live over there. It's just awesome to see that, especially in the summertime. We always feel like, all right, let's go get a thing of ice cream over there. So that's awesome. So we'll do closing arguments, basically where we're like, all right, let me sum up how I felt about this, what I learned and stuff. Okay, everybody's gonna do it. We'll start with me. I want to make sure any other comments came in before we start doing closing. Just reach out to the host. Okay, they're just saying. Yeah, okay, guys. Sorry if everybody watching this. We actually have a good amount of people watching this. Yes, I will do another one with anybody. I don't care who you are or what your opinion is. You can come talk about it. We can definitely do another one.
We'll plan it out.
About this issue, guys. About the issue.
Well, about any issues, even in Smithfield.
Yeah, any issues. If you guys want to do an episode about all the trails and the great, we got Camp Shepherd now, all that kind of stuff going on, all the awesome nature stuff we got.
That's a positive that there are still new trails that are opening up, like Camp Shepherd is recently opening up, and I'm hearing that they're going to be doing in the future some kind of development on where the old Stillwater Mills was as well. The Conservation Society, I think, Breakwater Conservation Society, they want to develop that into public land. Okay. So yeah,
that's great.
Definitely.
That's great.
I'm just gonna get through a couple comments. So this one is tough for me to understand. Are developers getting federal funding / subsidies for including low-income housing? Is the push to use COVID funding before end of year? Okay, I understand what you mean. Oh yeah, I wouldn't know. I'm kind of just a regular resident here. But I would imagine so.
So they're basically running out of whatever remnants of the COVID funding are, and they're trying to like use all of it by doing this. Is that what you're saying?
This might be satire. I'm not sure, but the state is soon to change that to 15% for each town. Yeah. Well, 10%. I think 10% is already a lot, but yeah, hopefully not 15.
That is, I did hear that as well.
Oh really? Oh,
yes.
He's not joking.
I don't believe so. That is a member of the Smithfield Planning Board that commented that, and he knows. So I would trust that.
Okay. How do we invite people to the video? All right, cool. Those are all the comments. Okay, cool. Sorry.
Well, they want to know how to come on the show. You can tell them.
Closing argument. I guess I'll just kind of figure. Everything's still recording. Okay, cool. Closing argument is yeah. It's the reason, guys. It's controversial because we want to protect the person that legitimately wants to live in a safe town, wants to be able to live in affordable housing, doesn't walk down Lime Rock Road, works a regular job, right? We don't want see a gang of people walking down the road looking for trouble. And whenever you live into a spot, that's your life's investment. I own property against woods that I don't own. They could legally, and I can't do anything about it, put like a bunch of sheds or a bunch of housing where people throw trash over the fence at my yard. They legally can do that, you know? It's, is it morally right? Like, maybe it's not. Maybe you have to consider what you're doing to affect the area. Maybe just because you want to develop that spot, maybe you have to go find a better spot. I'm not sure, you know? So, yeah, I just want to be unbiased here because I want to let any of you guys that think we need to let people... We can't tell people they can't live in our town. We don't want to be a NIMBY, which stands for not in my backyard, which I think that you can't keep labeling people, you're a NIMBY, it's like, it becomes like a swear word. Like, guess what? There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Nothing wrong with being a NIMBY, but like within reason, right? We have to have a landfill in the state. We have to have some low-income housing, you know what I mean? Just argument how much. How much is too much, okay? B-Dog, would you like to give a closing argument?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you were just saying is if you don't own the land, the bottom line is you really can't choose what other people do with their own land. I mean, if I own a place and I want to build a cool looking shed and my neighbors don't like the way it looks, I mean, sorry, it's on my land. But the other thing is that I think you also need to think logically. Maybe the developers should reconsider the area that they put their condos in instead of, just dumping them wherever they think there's open land, because maybe that land had wildlife. It could have had trails. It could have had trees. Maybe people like me used to hike on those unmarked trails at Scenic Trail. Now they're gone. So I think that it's within reason. Yes, there should be developments for people to live in, but the location should be taken into consideration, not just dump them wherever there's open land. Find a spot with an open road that can support the traffic where the town can handle it. So logically, yes, they can build, but build in the right place. That's what I think.
I like that a lot. Okay. Do you have any opinion?
Angelica?
Oh my God, that has to be edited out. I can't believe that. Did you have an opinion?
B-Dog, I think well said, right? Do it in the right place, do it responsibly, do it where it makes sense. And then balance conservation, preservation. Smithfield's really great with the trails and we have a lot of waterways and things like that. So balancing that with new development is definitely the key.
Okay, yes, very, very well said, Angelica. Thank you. Joe, what's going on, buddy? Have you been sitting back listening a lot?
Yes.
Closing argument, anything else you want to say about the topic? How you feeling?
I hope that Lime Rock development does not go through. I think it would be a disaster if it happens, and I'd feel bad for everybody who lives on that road and nearby, because it's going to be a traffic nightmare, I'm telling you. And you can't widen the road. That's not an option, so we'll see. I hope it doesn't go through.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, everybody, so I guess I'll see you. I'm going to put the echo effect on. Goodbye, everybody.
Do you want to maybe tell them how they can reach out to us in the future to...
Yeah, if this is going to be uploaded by the Smithfield Town Meeting's profile. You just click on that, and then click the message button. I don't get what you're trying to get at.
Well, if anybody's interested in doing another topic on anything in Smithfield, you can message the Smithfield Town Meetings page directly.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about that? Okay, yes, guys. Yeah, if you guys want to, guys, I'll do 10 meetings about the condos. I don't care. I just want to get people's opinion on it. I want it. The whole point of this is an option where you don't have to go after a long day of work to a town meeting, and we have somebody here that's from the town council. I don't want to insult anybody, but like, you know, it is, if you're not very interested in it, it is easy to get a little drowsy during a town council meeting sometimes, okay? So this is like a fun environment. We can do it on a weekend. We can talk about whatever. We can get off topic. And the last exercise I want to do is, does anybody want to do the quick challenge of, can you name every Dunkin' Donuts in the town? Does anybody think they can do it?
As a team, I think we can do it. Well, you sounds like you already know the answer.
I will not participate because I know the one Dunkin' that nobody can remember ever. Nobody
Is there one
remembers
like in Bryant or something? Is that the
it's
secret
not
Dunkin'?
No, it's not a trick question.
Okay.
It's brick and mortar standalone.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Joe, should we work
All
together?
right, they'll have the two guests, guys. Please, you could B-Dog's done this with me before, so guys, go ahead.
Okay, so there's the one next to the Pizzonis.
Yes.
Okay, that's one.
Yep.
There's the one right after it near Sonic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
There's the one on Austin Ave
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
in the Ace Hardware Plaza.
Yes.
Route 7.
There's five.
There's
Actually, I
five.
forgot about that one.
Route 7.
Which one?
There are two of them. There's one near that plaza near Douglas Lumber.
Oh yeah.
And
Right.
there's one.
All right, that's the one that nobody can remember. You got it,
Douglas
Joe.
Lumber one. I go
You
there a
got
lot
it.
though.
You got it. That was the big mystery.
I've
Okay, cool.
gone there a million times.
And then
Nice job, Joe. Nice job.
Yeah.
And
There's
this, the last one was the 7-Eleven one on Route 7
Yes.
also.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, bye guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, guys.
Thank you
Let's
very
end
much.
this